Hi, good afternoon and welcome to this meditation. Today is the 29th of August. I'm still meditating on 2 Corinthians and today we are going to read together 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 18. And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into his image, ever increasing glory, with ever increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. The Lord is the Spirit. It's not because you are a religious person that you are going to be transformed. It's because you are letting the Holy Spirit transform you that you are going to be transformed. We cannot do it ourselves. Otherwise, Christ wouldn't come. He wouldn't send his Spirit to transform us. Paul says in Titus chapter 3, verse 5, he saved us not because of righteous things we had done, but because of his mercy. He saved us through the washing of rebirth and renewal by the Holy Spirit. So we have here the washing of rebirth. We're not talking, there's no word baptism here, but it is the same idea that appears in Romans chapter 6. In Romans chapter 6, we were baptized in the cross, baptized in the tomb, baptized in the resurrection of Christ. So we were identified with him in his death, and then when he came out of death as well. So now we can live a new life, says Paul in Romans 6. It's the same idea here, but he changed the idea of the baptism on the cross, on the work of Christ, by this washing of rebirth and the renewal by the Holy Spirit. As if God, it's actually the idea here, God has put us in this bath with where the water is the Holy Spirit. And this water is going to wash us clean, and it is going to renew our minds as well. I'm not talking here about the transformation of the body. You can transform your body by not drinking certain things, drinking water, eating proper food, exercising and walking in the St. James's way or something else. But here we are talking about the renewing of the spirit. We're not talking about the renewing of the body, but of the soul, the spirit. And that's the work of the Holy Spirit. As Paul says in Titus 2:12, that this is actually the work of God's grace. It teaches, says it here's the grace, in Titus 2, verse 12, to say no to ungodliness and worldly passion, and to live self-controlled, upright, and good and godly lives in the present age. Teach us here is to take someone by the hand and guide that person. It's not sending the person to a modern contemporary school where you sit and you listen to what the teacher is saying, but it's actually walking with the teacher. The teacher here is grace, and grace is guiding you, and grace here is showing you what is good and what is not good. The renewing comes when the Spirit in us is teaching us to walk like Jesus. Paul says in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. How can we understand God? How can we understand his will? The only way is by being transformed by him, by his Spirit, by his grace. Actually, it's having his life in us, changing us. We have the mind of Christ, says Paul. The Spirit has given us the mind of Christ. So now we can think like Christ and not like the world. So when we are facing when a test, when we have to decide where to go, what to do, we will understand the way. We will understand where we have to go because we have been transformed. The Spirit is constantly transforming us so we can think like Jesus, be like Jesus, and not like the world. God bless you.